gon' buy the whole bar. Fukuza hii baridi na kafry
But
kweli
haiko sana, nasikia kajasho kameanza kutoka.
Ndio kanaanza sasa
I guess ni joy yako. Kaa ingekuwa yako nisingekuwa na sweat sana.
Ay, karibu tena sana ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fridays. This is the only show on Fridays that brings to you issues and matters around the showbiz industry. We're dedicated to meeting and promoting and solving issues in this area. So in studio with me, I have Konkodi, aka Noah Nganga.
Wow, ulijulia wapi?
Si mimi nilijua bwana, nitaposaje.
Mimi ndio ule mswahili chama. Ile church unajua, chama nini? Tumalizie hapo.
Hebu tuanze na hii ngoma umetoka kufanya sahi haya bana. Hebu tueleze jamani. Kila mtu hapa tu yuisikie yafanya tu hivi kuna so
Siaya as always tukiwa pale studio with the gang Siox Decimators hata tuwaite hivyo. So the name was by default hata tujui toka wapi but totally accept. So when we are in the studio na gang vibe waga inaweza. So Siox alikuwa na hata tulikuwa tumepangia ku record Siaya. We are working on another project. So Siox plays this beat hadi kwa karap sketch too. So I started nikaanza kuhum tu atoti. And then Branadra huwa gatu anajisalia ka vibe kana kama naye akajibu amebeba Siaya yote kwa sana. And then I thought hii ni idea kali, let's do something with it. And Siaya was born.
That's amazing. And you know with the current ongoing situation unajua kuna COVID pandemic sahi manze, how you even managing, how you keeping up, you know?
Jua hata sasa nimeanza kusweat lakini it's hard as Kenyans wote wenye wanapitia issues sahi. Leo kuna kakati unajua mkao utacheza safe utanyoroshwa tu.
Hebu waambie vizuri maana kuna wale ambao
usiogopa corona, ogopa GSU utanyoroshwa mtu wangu. But I hope it pass within acha tuombeni hii mwezi tu venye inaisha tuishe nayo hivyo aswa rudi job rudi hustle hata mimi nilikuwa tu home. Actually hata Mama Zawadi najua atakuwa kiwachisho alikuwa amekatani kama akasema there's no way you're putting
Zawadi, asante.
Akasema una put familia yetu kwa risk but eventually akakubali.
And you know now that you're here na wewe ni artist na umekuwa katika industry for a while, you know a lot of the question that we're asking ourselves today is how are artists coping during this COVID pandemic? And you know as a creative there must be some creative things that artists can do hata tukiwa tu nyumbani home, you know, that you can actually do and kind of find ways to make some money.
Nimechikia sana release mangoma. The only thing mimi nataka kuambia mimi sitadu ngoma ya corona. Corona ni iko kila mahali. Kuna watu wametoa ngoma yani mpaka sasa ikae nikaa kusensitize the masses, inakaa yani kutafuta likes na following. Inafaa kuwa already iko kwa news and everywhere. Usijaribu kutoa ngoma, try and educate mafans wako, waambie do this but kuenda ku create punchlines na vitu zani unajua wewe mwenyewe believe na unasema zingine. So na sihi wasanii wenzangu please tuongeleshe wasee wetu, tusikae tu tunatoa ngoma za kawaida, na pia kama uwezi share moments poa na wasee wache ku feel ka dunia inaisha. Share moments za kufanya wacheke. Share vitu poa.
Napenda sana hata the other day nilikuwa nimeona meme of kule pwani ati kuna bajia hivi ambavyo vinaitwa COVID. Nipatie COVID na ukwaju, the shape is very interesting. So
Kenyans actually wanoma sana kwa memes. I think pia hiyo inasaidia kupunguza hizo stress zao. Kuna wengine ni sick actually na pia wanaogopa wako in so much fear. Hata kushinda mimi niko sahi poa hivi, kuna msemali msiki na anaogopa kupata ugonjwa. Let's make kitu ikue, usifanye scam kiasi na tufuate sheria wasiwe kae home and to keep safe. Kwa
hivyo kando na hiyo ku keep safe, ukaa nyumbani, share good moments. Labda pia wale artists unajua kuna wale ndio wanaanza na walikuwa na hopes, labda walikuwa wameanza ku record music, you know, and now they're waiting to release it but everything is on hold. Unajua? And bado kuna hiyo YouTube platform, kuna Instagram, social media is big. So maybe kwa kumalizia tu how can they use and utilize the platforms also to grow their career and their brand?
Watu achilie, mtu wakifeel creative achilie kitu. Sasa si lazima hata sasa unaona watu wengine hata in studio sana do freestyles. You never know, maybe pandemic ikipita itakuwa something big. So as for me even nimesema tu start ngoma ya corona. Actually tuna do project ya Jack Rooster, tuna release ngoma mpya leo called Complicated.
Fantastic.
Tunataka kushare ka love kidogo, tuache kwa tense kiasi. So in about 3 hours tutakuwa tuna release hiyo ngoma. Unaweza go out there, check on Jack Rooster's album Nyoba. It's in all digital platforms. Go search, listen to the album. Ni vibe mbaya sana inaweza.
In vibe mbaya sana. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, sasa we're about to take a short break, but when we come back we have a lot to talk about as far as how artists can cope with the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So you can interact with me on social media platforms at @TV47KE and at Lucy_Riley. You can also send in a text message to 22047. Tonight we are going to do things a little differently, so don't touch that dial and stay with me, because after the break we've got a lot coming for you. Konkodi, shukran sana, we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Ndio.
Second time
For sure.
Thank you. And siwezi tena kurudi tena.
Kabisa, hiyo ni
tena na tena.
Ndio na artist wanaweza ona umejipanga tena sana kama na release ngoma. So ni kujipanga, si ndio?
Yeah, obviously lazima ujipange. Hata pandemic ikikuja tu, actually life pia inasonga.
Ndio. All right.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at @MOH_Kenya, at spokesperson GOK, at WHO.
Welcome to Woodland Resort, carefully positioned in a tranquil environment to give guests an almost private stay with the advantage of being in a serene and spoiled surroundings. We have a tailored, bespoke and transparent travel itinerary that are personalized with individual guest preference. Our well-trained, warm and friendly service personnel attend to
back. Thank you so much for joining and staying with us right here on TV 47. Remember, the hashtag for tonight is Friday, and we're really happy that you could join us. Our topic of discussion tonight is how can artists cope during the COVID-19 outbreak? How can artists cope during this COVID-19 outbreak? So you can interact with me on the social media platforms. That's at TV47KE and at Lucy_Riley, and I'll be able to sample some of your feedback. And actually I can see, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I can see with me here Emmanuel Simiyu watching, thank you. Ratemo Brown, Watu wa TX, Karibu. I can see H-Town, thank you so much for tuning in. I can already see some feedback on the question of the day, and I'll read this answer right here. Currently, let them now support the government since we now need everyone to stay safe. I think currently let them now support the government since we now need everyone to stay safe. So I think that's Gathu Skylink or Kalau saying artists need to support the government. And we've got also Bwaku Joseph, who says here, at the moment, there is nothing more than giving back to their fans. Everyone is worried. It's time the artists spread a word of encouragement to their fans. To my assumption, the more they love their music is the more they would love to get the encouragement from the artist. But as an artist, it's time to record more work. So very insightful there. It's time to record more work. And now I want to introduce my panel tonight, who, due to the restrictions that have been announced today, and we are respecting those, of course, our panel will be joining us via Skype tonight, live from home. And so I'll just start with my nearest left, who is Joel Wekesa. He's a music producer and actually a member of the Machakos Creatives Committee. We have Jua Kali, who is an artist, and very happy to have him here. We've also got Keith Chuaga, who is an artist and director at PRISK. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this evening. Munaendeleaje?
Hello, pardon?
Munaendeleaje usiku wa leo, Friday? How are you all doing? How is the restriction and curfew finding you at home tonight? How are you?
I'm doing good. Mazee restriction. Kuna venye imetuweka indoors sana mazee, because if you artists wase kama sisi artists producers, most of our work inakuanga of course outdoors, not indoors, but due to those restrictions and imebidi tu tuka indoors, but otherwise so far so good.
Right, that's very good. Juakali, how are you doing? I spoke to you earlier on and you were telling me how you were rushing. Ulikuwa traffic manze, unangangana kufika nyumbani ndio at least usipatikane na wale watu wa GSU. So how did that go? How was your experience today?
Okay, audio yako na distort kidogo.
Yeah.
Unaweza repeat your question tafadhali?
Naulizaje? Leo ulipata siku yako ikiwaje? Manake I spoke to you earlier on and you actually talked about you rushing to get home and you were stuck in traffic and a lot of people were trying to beat the curfew by 7 p.m. No one should be found or should have been on the street, so to say. So how did that find you? How was that experience for you getting home before the 7 p.m.?
It's a new experience definitely, because most of the time human being ama mtu ingia kwa hao ile time nataka kuingia, but now with a specific time ya kufika, guys were rushing. Pia mimi nilikuwa na rush, kulikuwa na traffic hapo kidogo Thika Road, but by around 6:30 nilikuwa nimefika kwa nyumba.
Fantastic.
But it's a new experience ile unaharakisha, unaangalia time, lazima nikuwe kwa hao time.
Ndio. So now we just want to dive right into it and talk about, what is actually the current state with artists, both experienced and those who are just starting up. And maybe I can throw that to Keith. Keith Chuaga, you're an actor, you're also a director at PRISK, and you've been feeling this and your family and knowing that you've been working on some projects. Maybe unaweza kutuanzishia, talk to us about generally how the current situation is.
Well, the situation it's okay, not to sound too negative, but ni ngumu. This is a really tough, not just in Kenya, but all over the world. of course it's just getting to us right now in Africa and in Kenya. So saindo pia tunatry kugrapple, tunatry hii kitu ni nini, kila mtu tu imetushika tu off guard, imetupata tu pa, you know. So saindo tunatry kuelewa, tunatry to come to terms even with what it is. And you know, you must have noticed in the last 2 weeks, every day we wake up kuna kitu mpya, every day we wake up kuna kitu mpya, na si vitu poa. For instance, like I think ilikuwa 3 days nimeamka na kuta simu iko na mentions, hata naogopa kuingia, tunashindwa hii ni nini tena, nimefanya nini? So kuingia wanasema everybody who was at the just concluded AMVCA awards, it was in Lagos, everybody could have been at risk. Unacheki?
Ndio.
So unacheki news kayo ilikuwa ni news normal. Of course kulikuwa na Wakenya 10 walikuwa huko, na hawa si ati Wakenya 10, hawa ni wengine, ni mapeste wa karibu, unaona?
Ndio.
So ni kitu imekuwa hard. Okay, wacha ni classify for actors. Of course sets zimeacha kushoot.
Ndio.
Kuna movie nilikuwa ndani, ilikuwa inaenda kupremiere kesho, kesho ilikuwa inafaa premiere kesho, movie yangu imehold. Na tujui mpaka when kulikuwa na theater plays, wasanii wako na theater plays, hizo zimehang. Kuna musicians wameshoot mavida zao, wana mangoma zao wanaenda ku release, hizo zote zimehang.
Ndio.
So creative industry ime stand iko at a hold. Sio tuweze enda mchana hata tupige show.
Okay.
Hatuwezi enda kwa job to record ngoma, ni hard.
Ndio. Alafu labda I can throw this question over to producer Joe. We can actually see that various internationally, such as perhaps in the UK, 20 million euros has been put aside just to support this particular, the artists and creatives, and even honor the existing promises that it had made. So really, in your opinion, what needs to be done and what's the problem? What should we be focusing on right now? There are maybe payments that still haven't been made, and at the same time we have artists that want a relief.
Okay, first of all, kuna wewe kama amesema about artists should now focus in supporting the government, of which it's a good thing. And but then also if you look at the creative industry, especially, let me talk about Machakos. There have been several issues during the past few months about late payments, even before Historia Corona income. So the government has delayed the payments. We don't know what is the issue. We've been having several promises, Nawalipa next week. But then it has come to this point, we have this Corona here, and artists who are depending on the government, they have done a series of events since last year. Especially, I'm talking about Machakos. They have done those events expecting money. You see now they have been struggling. Hawana yo do ya sustain this during this particular time. And so, as much as they should support the government, yes, but at some point, I will say it's not been an easy journey for the artists. But at least I will urge maybe the government, the Machawood, it's called Machawood. The Machawood at least to look into the artist issues, especially in Machakos, so that at least they can also support the artists, for the artists also to support. Like they support the artists and the artists also support the government. Ikue two-way.
Yeah. Maybe naweza sikia kutoka Jua Kali. Our question of today, how can artists cope during this outbreak? I mean, how are you coping, first of all, you as Jua Kali? How are you able to cope? And then what can artists who are there currently and have been there, what can they do?
Okay, for me naweza sema kwanza ni kitu pia ngumu, for especially pia for veteran artist. Unajua mtu anaweza kaa chini aseme ni wasanii mmekuwa hapa, but it's a hard time, yani ni situation normal kwa sasa hivi. So personally mimi nimejaribu sana, I always encourage artists wa invest back kwa talent yako. The moment unapata kidogo, invest back. So hii time kama hii saa zile activities ziko kidogo sana, unaweza jifundisha hata kucheza instruments. Unaona, kama hata ulijinunulia gitaa ama uko na keyboard ama unataka hata kujifundisha how Logic works, ama uko na interest maybe ya kushoot videos, sasa hii ndio time ya kusoma tutorials online. Unaona, anyway, yani just keep busy na kuna kujielevate, yani ile kuongeza kitu kwa talent yako, unajua. So yani any time poa sana ya kudiscover kitu new. Unaona, maybe ile kitu new haujawahi, maybe yani talent mpya haujafikiria huko nayo. Unaona, kama mimi personally sahi najifundisha After Effects.
Ndio.
Najifundisha, nasoma tutorials za kucolor grade videos kwa sahi.
Sasa nikuulize swali moja, Jua Kali. Pole kwa kukatizia short. Sorry to cut you short.
Okay.
In that process of learning and creating, because creatives create, right? But bado kuna yule artist anaanza na yeye bado nafikiria, yes, I can learn, and even going on the YouTube or internet to learn these skills requires some money, and they want that money to even just buy that airtime or to buy the bundle. So ni nini ambacho anaweza fanya basi ndio ile while they are still learning bado wanaweza ku make some income on their side, ama using this the situation that as it is?
Okay, unajua for now across the board, yani across the board, ikwe mtu anafanya kazi kwa mjengo, ikwe ni msanii, ikwe mtu wa mboga, saa hii chapa imepotea.
Ndio.
As we speak. As we speak, chapa imepotea. Pia sisi, I had like 12 shows back to back every weekend. Hizo zote zime stop. So meaning pesa yani kuna pesa imekatika. So ili kitu across the board, a veteran artist anaanza, si wote tuko kwa situation normal. Mimi tu nasema the little you have, the little you have, just try your best. Yani hii time tuko nayo mingi sahi, kujielevate tu mind yako vile tu unaweza. Kama ni kusoma tuzo tutorials, azikuli MBs mingi sana. Ukigedana kitu ya so 3 so 4, you can just read. Si lazima hata stream videos. It's not a must to stream videos. You can just read the tutorials. Just learn something, tukingoja tu inoma iishe.
Ndio. All right. Asante sana. And while we'll pick this conversation up just after the break, we're about to take a short break. Remember, the hashtag is Friday, and you can actually tell me how artists can cope during these hard times of the COVID pandemic. The hashtag is Friday. You can text it on 22047 or call in on the number that appears on the bottom right of your screen. It's time to take a short break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for choosing to stay with us right here on TV47. Remember, the hashtag for tonight is Friday, and our discussion tonight is centered around coping with the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So the question of the night is, how can artists cope during COVID-19 outbreak? And just before we took the break, we were speaking to my amazing panel from home, from the comfort of their homes, because wherever you are, if you've just joined us and you are very keen on the creative space, we're trying to find solutions towards how artists can actually cope during these times. Now, I want to throw it now to my colleague Keith, right? With the government increasing the allocation of funds in various like healthcare and also fiscal adjustments, how can creatives actually be looped into this, and how can they be involved? Perhaps Keith, you can comment on that. Keith Chuaga.
Yeah. Well, you live and realize that. So that Kenya wasione ni kama tunaitisha kitu ambaye ni impossible. I just saw 2 days ago the Prime Minister of Germany, Angela Merkel, released 50 million euro to go to creatives, just to cushion them from the effects. So one thing government can look into a fund of cushioning creatives during this period. I want people to be sensitive to this fact. Si ati tunajipenda, lakini utakuta watu wengi wa
Sorry to cut you short, Keith. It seems like your feed is freezing a little bit on screen. So while we just get to fix that, we'll get back to you on that question. Kindly just be checking on the internet. But maybe now I can talk to Joe, and maybe you can tell me, maybe there is some positivity in all this mess and all this chaos. Right? What can be done? You as a producer, you are at home right now, and just as Jokali has mentioned a few things that artists can do, even from yourself being one of the key players, what can key players like yourself be doing, and how can artists take advantage of this situation? How can they take advantage?
Basically, in art, Jokali had mentioned earlier on, they should invest back in their talents, but also you should make an investment, like, kuna ile you are an artist, yes, but you should have maybe some secure funds somewhere where you're doing your savings or something like that will help you in such situations kama yenye may happen right now. Because generally when you look at the creative industry, most of the people, yes, they sing, they make money, but the business aspect of it ndo inakuanga tricky kidogo. And so personally kama mimi, I'm a producer, yes, and most of the time I expect a lot of artists from Akuje, then we do the music, I get paid, and that's how I earn my income. But at this point in time whereby hata how kukuja in the studio, it's a little bit tricky, it's good that like I myself, I'm doing some different jobs, that is some online jobs that are related to music, doing some online courses that are related to music, and also just equipping myself so that at that point in time when we'll not have such a situation, I can be able to have content that I'm going to give out back to the people, so that I start from there to make more money. Like also I'm compiling an album for the studio. I've been recording several artists during the period before, maybe it's certain like 3 to 4 months ago, of which I'm compiling right now, so that during the time that coronavirus may leave, I can have a content to give back to the people. So generally, the artists should invest in their talents, and also this is a lesson to them that they should be having savings and other investments apart from whatever they are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for that feedback. And so I just want to now loop it back to Keith. And we were just talking earlier on about how creatives can be looped into what the government is doing to allocate funds and resources to various sectors.
Yes. Yeah, so I was just saying also, just so that people can be sensitive to what artists are asking for, it's because other professions you'll find are salary. So CC, you find most of our jobs and most of our opportunities have been frozen completely. So it would be prudent for like the government to have like a fund, let's say to go into the music fund, to go into the filmmakers fund, to go into other aspects of creatives, just to first cushion them in this period. And then another thing they do is to tukiangalia upande kai wa royalties. Right now, you cannot collect royalties. The businesses have closed down. You find like key accounts like hotels that pay royalties to performers. How washafunga. Unakuta hoteli kaa zote, if you go to the Westlands district, all those hotels unakuta hii wiki yote hazijalalisha hata mgeni hata mmoja, hawajafanya conference hata moja. So how will they be able to pay royalties? So one of the things the government can do about that is one, to set a fund that will substitute this royalty collection. And then also another thing is to help enforce on the businesses. Say ile time tutarudi towards the end of the year, hata wapetu like a grace period. But can the government assist the royalty collecting agencies in that process? Because haitakuwa rahisi. It will not be easy when we come back when you're going to collect those royalties. But the government can definitely look into that.
Right, right, but
also
then
another
right, okay. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So like our panelists were saying, kujifundisha, can now a fund be there to substitute certain costs for artists? For instance, vituka una service providers or service provide internet.
Right.
Would there be a cushion from the government for that during this period?
Right, right. So now I want to hear from Jua Kali. What will you miss, during this curfew period? What are you going to miss the most during this time when, everyone is required to stay at home?
Okay, what I will miss the most is performing for my fans.
Right.
Yani shows. Unajua hapo ndio. That's where art tuna feed off energy tunakuwa creative when you step on stage. Sio ndio kitu nitamiss. Yani ndio kitu na miss actually hata sasa na miss already.
Right. Okay, fine. So, just threw that in there. But just to finalize this discussion, we want to know then who is to be held accountable, because the National Assembly Budget Committee Chairman Kimani Ichung'wah said that, government must put money in the pockets of Kenyans. Then who is to be held accountable, and especially now on behalf of creatives? Maybe I can throw this to Producer Joe as well as Jua Kali. Yes, Jua Kali, you're itching to say. Speak.
Yes. Okay, looking at, we always watch what the first world, what they do. Kwa situation kama hii, we always look up to them.
Yes.
So we saw the US Senate passed the bill where I think homes will be getting like $1,000 every month.
Deal.
$1,000 for the next 3 months watakuwa napewa, and also the unemployed wamelist wanasema tuko unemployed, yes, but pia sisi tunataka, we need some cash pia kutoka kwa hii 2 trillion. So yani hiyo tu ni kushow, it shows the government kwa situation kama hii kuna pesa for situation kama hii ikitokea, there's some fund, there's some cash which imekuwa kando, which will cushion everyone from watu employed to wale unemployed, na hiyo ina include wasanii to walimu to everyone. So hii noma yote tutarushia bado tu gava, they should take care of us.
All right, fantastic. Yes. So now I just want to get an overall takeaway and take home. And of course, as we switch gears, we're seeing celebrities now releasing songs that are, about coronavirus internationally and both locally. And, is this a stunt to make some money, or are they genuinely trying to sensitize the public to take precaution? Maybe I can start with Keith, then I can go to Jua Kali and my friend here, Joe. Yes.
Whether it's a stunt, unajua mimi itakuwa noma juu siwezi shoot movie ni stunt nayo zaidi. Noma sana. Lakini kitu naweza sema kuambia wasanii na Wakenya, say life inaenda kuwa different kidogo. Not just economically, everybody is talking about the finances. Kukaa kwa hii hao ni hard. Ukiwa na watu ni hard, kuna dynamics. Ukikuwa solo kwa nyumba bado kuna dynamics. So it's very important for Kenyans right now to look for a way to be not just safe ile kuosha mikono, lakini pia psychologically keep safe, keep positive thoughts. Ukiona umeboeka sana, ingia kwa WhatsApp group, tafuta tu memes. Ndio time ya kufollow memes.
Kwanza hizo memes wazee nimekuwa nikiziwatch sana.
So mimi naambia tu Wakenya to try tu kuwa psychologically healthy, alafu kusmile. Hata ukiona siku imeisha kuna kitu cha kucheka, mazee ingia pale Instagram nitafute John na niko sure nitakuwa na video funny tucheke pamoja.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Jua Kali. Tell me about that. What do you feel about that?
Yes, okay, mimi for a very long time nimekuwa na postigi funny videos. Just to yani ile kupunguzia wase stress, unajua?
Ndio.
So ni kitu unaona, so ni kitu bado taendelea nayo. Yani ile tu, yani as much as kuna noma, we have to smile. We have to be strong. Unajua, alafu human being unaweza cope na anything. Yani sahi, yani noma, yes, but tutatoboa. At the end of the day we'll make it. Kama ni vaccine itapatikana, hii noma itaisha. So just to hold to go too strong.
All right. Okay, producer Joe, unafilaje kuhusu artists and the role they're actually playing towards this pandemic now?
First of all, story ya memes, there's a meme I saw inasema ati if the government ichukue tu, the population is around 47 million. So watu sote tuna mita alafu kila mtu ajipange na coronavirus. So Kali has said something about the government equip prepared, he set aside some money just for these such situations. I think it's a good thing. They should do such so that at least ikifika such times they can be able to fund
Lakini huyo jamaa alisema gavai set aside 47 million shillings. Ndio wa Kenya 47 million wapewe kila mtu mita moja. Mimi piga hesabu sijapata.
Very interesting.
And then secondly, about the artist about the songs that you're not za corona. I think it's not a bad thing, because first of all, if you look at these artists, they have followers, and that is one way in which they can help the government to sensitize them. So unless kama mtu akona personal issues anasaka do to kivyake, but I don't think that is it. They are sanitizing, for which it's a good thing, and kutoa hizo ngoma wacha watoto wakuje studio nitawasaidia.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Yo, that's quite interesting there. Asante sana. And we're about to take a short break, but when we come back, we have something more that's prepared for you. Of course, you can still call us and we can keep this conversation going. The hashtag is Friday. And just stay with us.
With every new week comes new adventures, fresh expectations, and new stories to tell. Where others tell you stories as a youth, we will invite you to the table to critically debate.
We will continuously recycle the same kind of leaders and the same kind of bad leaders that we end up complaining about later if we do not adopt a value and issue political system in this country.
Well, of course, here on New Week, we are all about matters youth has analyzed, developing stories and how they are likely to shape up in the new week.
I think youths in Kenya need to find themselves, what they're good at.
Where are we
in that trajectory as the youth right now? Are we starting where we are?
It's more than just a current affairs program.
Uandishi wa habari uliokwenda darasani na kufuzu vyema umetua rasmi. Lengo lake kuu ni kufahamisha jamii kwa taarifa ya kina kupitia upeo wa TV47 unaotua kwa safari yenye hatua mpya na muonekano wa hali ya juu. Kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni, Clifford Ndubi na Andrin Kilemi wanaibuka kwa taarifa stadi. Andrin Kilemi atarejea tena Jumanne saa 1 jioni kwa ukurasa mwingine wa habari. Siku ya Jumatano, Salome Mwiruri ndiye atakayepasua mbarika ya habari, na miale ya jua itakapotua magharibi siku ya Alhamisi, Emmanuel Terer na Liz Mutuku watatua usukani wa upeo. Mnamo Ijumaa, Paul Kirobi na Fiona Kenga watadadavua habari kwa njia ya aina yake. Jumamosi haujasazwa, nahodha wako Corazon Safen atahakikisha meli haikwendi mvange. Josh Onsare ndiye atakayevalia njuga taarifa siku ya Jumapili nia kubwa ikiwa kufunga wiki kwa mpigo. TV47, nyumbani mwa taarifa nadra zisizopakuliwa kwingine.
Alright, welcome back and thank you so much for remaining with us right here on TV47. Remember, the discussion tonight is how can artists cope during the COVID-19 outbreak? The hashtag is Fridays and there is a phone call that's actually coming in right now. Hello? Hello, TV47? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Kindly tell me your name and which county you're calling from.
My name is Edward.
Yes, I can't quite hear you, kindly.
Yes, I'm saying my name is Edward. Yeah?
Right.
Calling in from Assad.
All right.
This is a bit of poor network. Hello?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Edward. All right, unfortunately we lost our caller, but now we're going to get into another segment of the show, which is games, celebrity games. And so, my gentlemen, we are about to play a game, and I know you didn't see this coming. Na nilikuwa nasikia venye muongea kuhusu wale watu wa pwani jamani. I see you keep, no, don't. Right. Okay. Gumzo mtaani basi tutueleza kidogo.
Pale mzee Suleiman nimwambia mzee Abubakar, leo tuenda nyumbani leo.
Na hiyo time ni 6:45. Na hawajavuka feri. Haya sawa. So my first question, I'm going to throw it to producer Joe. What would you buy if you found out your recent pay was your last? What would you buy if you found out your recent pay was your last? Joe.
Yes, okay. If my last, you said if my last what? If my recent balance was my last.
Ile cheko ulopata ya mwisho. The last pay you got, if you found out that is it, you're not getting any other pay anytime soon in the next 10 years. So what would you buy with that money?
Wow. Hey, kuna list ya vitu more, it depends with the amount of the check though. But first of all, food lazima ni buy. Food lazima, hiyo ni lazima. Unajua mimi ni Mluya, as a matter of fact. So, I'll buy food. And then, I'll also look into something that maybe if those 10 years inaweza nipatia opportunity ya grab some money in between, maybe now that I'm assured after 10 years maybe I won't get that money. I'll just look for something, if at all. So unajua anything can happen anytime, so I'll just invest in something.
Sema kweli, utainvest na hautapata hela.
Hujajibu hiyo swali mzee.
Sema utakuwa posho meal mzee. Sema utakuwa
posho meal.
Ugali.
Sawa, swali langu next ni la Jua Kali. Kama hungekuwa artist, what would you be in another life? Kama hungekuwa artist, what would you be in another life?
Hiyo ni swali rahisi. Yani mimi upenda story ya kufly sana. Kufly, kusafiri. So napenda pilot. Mimi documentary za ndege sana hapa kwa hao. So in another life nilikuwa a very good pilot.
Sawa kabisa. Haya, then airline yenye ungechagua ndio gani jamani?
Airline. KQ obviously. Ni mtu wa nyumbani.
Kweli?
Unataka nikafly wapi? Niende Emirates? Hapana. Nyumbani, KQ.
Sawa, tunacheza na maneno hapo. Haya, sawa. All right, then my final question goes to Keith. Which food would you stock the most in the scenario of a lockdown? Which food would you stock the most in the scenario of a lockdown?
Okay. Sasa ninge buy kuku.
Okay.
Kuku jamani.
Unaona zile kuku? Unaona zile kuku wakatuni drumsticks. Drumsticks zote. Ni panic by drumstick na gizzard. Pesa itabaki ni by maji.
Kuku na maji, hata si ugali hivi angalau. Kienyeji ama All right. Thank you so much. And maybe a final bonus question, remember na director nikuulize Jua Kali. Now that kuna Genge Tone and you are the founder of Genge himself, how do you feel about that? And what is your general output and feeling towards Genge Tone?
My feeling towards Genge Tone ni kwanza as a founder of Genge. Nilikuwa humbled sana, yani vijana wa hii generation, yani tuliwa influence when they were young. Yani of all the names hapa nje, they chose to call their music Genge Tone. Yani basically wanaambia to the general public tulikuwa inspired na Genge. Unajua?
Kabisa.
Hiyo kitu ilini humble sana.
Ndio.
Mpaka mimi sina issue yoyote nao. I'm recording songs now. Yani hata na plan kufanya album nzima now. Yani niko happy ile direction wamechukua as young guys. So they're moving in the right direction. Wanapiga corporate shows sahi. So hiyo ni kitu poa kabisa. So mimi niko happy for them. Na waendelee hivyo.
Sawa kabisa. From Genge Godfather himself, thank you so much. I have had the best and vibrant and very exciting panel with me, gentlemen, very young gentlemen. And it's time now to take a look at some celebrity news, what's happening in the world of showbiz. Stay with me as we take a look at that.
Baby, come to my bedroom. Welcome to my bedroom. I want to show you something that you never see.
After Harmonize released his album known as Afro East, a group of artists from Kenya known as Shamakins have come out claiming that he copy-pasted their song.
My bedroom. Welcome to my bedroom. Karibu. My bedroom. I really like this bedroom. Welcome to my bedroom.
Harmonize is yet to respond to the claims. Also, after Cardi B came out on Instagram and posted a video claiming that some celebrities are being paid to state they have tested positive for coronavirus, actor Idris Elba, in response, says he has nothing to gain by lying to people that he has tested positive for COVID-19. In addition, Idris Elba's wife has also tested positive for coronavirus.
Test shaming is like counterproductive. I don't see what people get out of that. And also like this idea that someone like myself is going to be paid to say I've got corona.